and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Wild's War Cry, coming straight to you from Suplex City, bitches.
Woo!
That's right. Joining me again on this wonderful journey through wrestling is Ulysses, the main man, last name?
Redacted.
Redacted, okay. And the minor, Chris.
That's me.
All right, good. All right, enough joking. We have a
Holy.
lot to talk about. It was a big weekend, and it started with a lot of kind of cool stuff for you, wrestling fans who just like to live the entire wrestling experience through WrestleMania week, which is pretty easy to do. There was Access, there was WrestleMania Today. There was a lot of really cool interviews. The WWE does what they always do, and, they do the stuff for the kids and the local areas that they go in. I only got to see a little bit of the NXT Gauntlet, which is how we got Hideo Itami in a match at WrestleMania, at least on the pre-show. But he did the GTS, and the crowd went wild. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
It's on YouTube. You should find it. It's it's a very familiar move, but the crowd definitely kind of gave him the proper response for that. Next, we had a couple of different things, but I want to talk very briefly about the Hall of Fame. It was good. I do not think it was as good as last year's, and it was long. It was very long. Did you guys get a chance to see it?
No, I didn't.
I just got to see the highlights of who was inducted and a little snippets of their speeches.
Sadly, I think that was all you really needed to see. Last year's just had, not necessarily better speeches overall, but I think it felt a little bit more elevated. And I don't know, I really liked Alondra Blaze's speech, and I loved Zabisco's speech, which I think was probably the best overall speech. But, if you didn't see it, you're good. So let's talk about why anything under God's green earth would need a 2-hour pre-show.
Because it's WrestleMania.
It
what's wrong with you?
Doesn't need a 2-hour pre-show.
It needs a 3-hour pre-show.
I enjoy looking at Renee Young and Booker T, and I guess Corey Graves is okay, but I didn't need to see them for, an hour and 30 minutes or however long.
See, honestly, I love looking at Renee Young. I don't like hearing Booker T. That's where you and I differ.
Shuck it, duck it, quack, quack.
Exactly. But there were two matches on the pre-show, and that's good. I think if you're going to have a 2-hour long, pre-show, you should at least have two matches. But the first of these two matches, I have to say, was one of the matches I think actually deserved to be on the card, and that was the tag team match. So real quick, for those who don't know, this was Tyson Kidd and Cesaro defending their tag team belts against Los Matadors, the New Day, and the Usos. And if you aren't aware, we're about to discuss why there was only one Uso that was really participating because
reasons.
I believe it's Jimmy Uso is actually injured currently. So let me ask you guys really quick. What did you think about this tag match? And just briefly, I thought the action was really good. There were a lot of great, they had some hard moments with some kicks. You could tell everybody ramps it up for WrestleMania, and I think people just seem to work more stiff for WrestleMania to try to make it look a little bit more brutal, a little bit more real during the season. Other than some confusion over who the legal man was, it was a decent finish. The tag champs retained, and I liked it. What did you guys think?
That's what I was mainly going to say. I loved the action. It was very very fast paced, and it was honestly a very good match overall. And the only thing I can rag on it about is that I really didn't know who was the legal man half the time, but that's fine for that type of match because it kind of flows into it. But I like all three. I like three of the four teams. The New Day I don't like. I agree with the crowd. I love that chant. The New Day sucks. It's one of my favorite chants because it's true.
Big E even posted about that on Twitter last night. Yeah.
I mean, I like the three of the New Day just together. I just don't like them. I love Big E, love Kofi. I've never really seen much about Xavier Woods, but I'm sure I'd like him. But together they just don't mix. But anyway, great match altogether. I like the ending, and the spots they had in there were good, especially the giant superplex electric chair, whatever that's called.
Right.
Bit.
Ulysses?
I like this match. It was a fun, fast-paced, entertaining match. But I have two quick points about this match. One, if WrestleMania is gonna keep doing WrestleMania on an outdoor venue, do not come to the West Coast anymore.
Yep.
It was really really weird watching all this wrestling with the sun out. I did not like that, which makes no sense because I know in Raw it has a whole bunch of light and everything, but it just didn't come off good. Go back to the East Coast, maybe the Central Time, stay there, have it dark. It puts me more in a wrestling watching mood.
Yeah.
My second point is I am so sad for Big E. You guys know there is no bigger fan of Big E Langston more than me. And for him, for him to be an afterthought in matches saddens me because I want him to be pushed and pushed hard because I love that man. I think he's funny, he's entertaining, and he used to be really funny on Instagram, but he doesn't do those anymore. But
He's also got some great tits.
Somebody had to say it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Since Ulysses brought it up, let's discuss for a quick second. You're not the only one who didn't like the outdoor venue. What I was going to bring up a little bit later was, of course, that we do have the majority of these matches take place with the sun still out. And the reason, of course, is they're on the West Coast. There's a 3-hour time difference for us here on the East Coast. You know, it's going to air at the East Coast time. So, of course, it just makes sense that you're still going to have daylight. Now, it was an open air venue, as Ulysses pointed out. It was a very cool venue. I like the way it looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, props to WWE. Some of the camera angles for this WrestleMania, like when they were getting the around the ring, the roundabout like shots of the ring and the crowd, and then that fisheye lens at the top, like it was fantastic. They really made that presentation. They stepped their game up a little.
Speaking about stepping the game up, I did like seeing the NXT LED board on the side of the ring apron.
Right,
I like
yeah.
that too.
That was cool to see.
Yeah. Chris, what did you think of the kind of daylight hanging over most of the WrestleMania?
It felt more like a glorified backyard wrestling type of thing than an actual event. It's like the quality was not of backyard. The quality was 10 out of 10. But like I just never been a fan of the daylight wrestling. Like some of the wrestlers, their entrance and their overall wrestling ability is better in the dark, and we'll get to that later.
All right, yeah, we can discuss that soon. So it reminds me of when they used to do Tribute to the Troops, because Tribute to the Troops used to be outside a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was usually, like you said, it wasn't on the West Coast. It was usually either East Coast or Central Time or whatever. And therefore, by the middle point or end of the show, it was dark. So, I saw a lot of people really complaining about that. I don't think it affected it as negatively to me, but I could definitely see the reason someone might be upset about that. But,
and it was funny seeing every wrestler squint.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the stage and the setup?
It was fantastic. Granted,
I thought
the logo of WrestleMania, I could have like the whole without the number and all that. I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
But
You didn't like WrestleMania play?
It's stupid. Everything else was fantastic. I love their variation of the Titantron.
Yeah.
Behind them. I love that.
I want to say it was great and it was amazing and all that good jazz, but essentially it's the same as last year's WrestleManias without the Triple X. Go back and see it. It's the exact same minus the Triple X's.
It was a bigger stage. They just made the last year's stage bigger, and they did something different with the backdrop and all, like Chris was saying, which looked really good. But that was like one of my big problems. I was like, that's not really, we've lost all other special, kind of backdrops for pay-per-views and everything like that. Yeah. And I hate it. And so WrestleMania now is the only time of year where we can get WWE to get off their fucking asses and actually give us something better. And my only complaint about the stage this year was I was like, it looks great, but it's really last year's stage bigger and without the Triple X. So,
exactly.
Anyway, let's move on. We had one more match for the pre-show. All of the participants, except for the injured Uso, actually just stayed in the ring, it looked like, because they were all in the next match as well. It was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I think everyone and their brother saw the winner of this coming, but let's discuss it. Ulysses, what did you think about the Battle Royal?
Okay, see, now this is where I get to complain a bit, and you guys are going to tell me whether I'm right or wrong. I have a huge beef with this match and the previous match, the tag title match. Remember when it felt like wrestlers earned their WrestleMania spots?
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Remember when it
Sure.
felt like Steamboat had to work his ass off to try to get a match against Macho Man or any other kind of way? Oh yeah, I know you can't. I mean, Chris, I'm sorry, but I hate this. I really, really hate this whole. Let's just throw everybody out there. Like, let's
Yeah.
just give everyone a chance.
It's everybody's day.
I don't. I hated because this is 2 years in a row we had a Fatal 4 tag team title match. I didn't
Yeah.
like it last year as much, and I really didn't like it this year because it's like now you're getting really redundant. What like Cesaro and Kid are fantastic. I mean, they could put on a 5-star quality match when given the time. I understand that the Usos were hurt, but if when Usos are healthy, we saw them last year against the Wyatts, against the Shield, against all those guys. They put on fantastic matches. Give them and to Cesaro and Kid just straight up to tag team match, and they will bring the house down. I guarantee you. And now this battle royal. I don't like battle royals in general. That's not the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble does have a really big meaning. The Andre the Giant, the Memorial Battle Royal, like I love Andre, but that title is irrelevant. Winning that trophy doesn't mean a damn thing.
It's like
Look
a
at
Slammy
Cesaro.
award.
Yeah, look at Cesaro. It was supposed to propel him into something good, but it did absolutely nothing for him. And then
Let's be fair
What?
real quick. Let's be fair. I think their intention was to turn this into the new version of King of the Ring. Because the whole deal with King of the Ring is it didn't mean anything, but usually whoever won King of the Ring got a big push, right?
Oh.
And that push sometimes worked, it sometimes did. With
I thought
a lot of
the
people
Money in
it
the
did.
Bank was more the spiritual successor to. That
Yeah.
works better as a spiritual successor to King of the Ring.
I guess the reason I say that is because King of the Ring didn't give you an automatic title shot. Now, most of those
Yeah.
people did go on to eventually receive a title shot, but that wasn't like a contract. It wasn't like a guaranteed thing. The point is,
Unless it was like the Brock Lesnar one where he
Yeah.
did. But yeah, continue.
we could spend way too long talking about why the push failed with Cesaro and putting him with Heyman and all that stuff. But please continue your thought on why it doesn't work for you.
But yeah, it doesn't work for me because I understand. I guess you got to see battle royals in the same way that you see like cast in a Friday the 13th or a Halloween movie. Is like they're gonna cast 20 people just so we could see 15 of them die.
Right.
In the sense of like Royal Rumble, like let's throw 20 people out there so we could have Big Show eliminate 7 of them. And I get that meaning, but I don't watch WrestleMania to watch Axomania or to watch Fandango or to watch those guys. I do not care about them. Why have all these people in my WrestleMania? That's just my beef. Like, I could honestly say I moaned and grunted during 90% of this. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, that whole mentality of just throwing everybody in a WrestleMania?
See,
Well,
I'm glad they did I hear what you're saying. I didn't get to watch most of that because the network was messing up, but I'm just saying it this. I'm glad that they did the Andre the Giant Memorial mid card match this year opposed to a couple years ago because I actually liked the mid card this year, and most of them are interesting opposed to a couple years ago when literally it was 2 people and that was it.
Here's my thought. I do agree with you. I definitely remember when you would have WrestleMania matches where remember that match between it was supposed to be Miz and Morrison versus the Colognes, and like that match tore the house down.
Oh, that
and
was
you didn't even see it because it ended up on the pre-show, and so like no one saw it, right? And that's when, like you were saying, like you had people fighting, tooth and claw just to get their match on the show, and there was no, giant 20-man thing. And they've done some stuff, like you could say the Money in the Bank matches, you had your 7 people, and they've done a couple of battle royals in the past, but honestly, for the most part, I agree with you. And no one, I think, cared that this match, because of what it was, got bumped to the pre-show. We're going to talk about the timing and stuff in a minute, but honestly, I agree with you. I think I can see your point, and I think it would be more beneficial to them if they're going to do something like this. Maybe move it off of WrestleMania. Maybe, keep it on the pre-show. Do something where it's kind of like you want the matches that actually appear on the show, like you said, to feel like these are the people who shined this year and really deserve that spot.
Yeah, that's all I ask.
All right. So let's move on to the actual beginning of the show.
To the actual Mania.
Yeah. After somebody I'd never heard of sang the national anthem, we had my favorite match of the night, and that is the IC ladder match.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, this was my favorite match of the night, and I'm going to explain
literally
why.
any of the matches from the night could have been anyone's favorite.
Yeah,
maybe not the Divas.
Let me say that when I say this is my favorite match of the night, that's not to discredit any other match. I am saying that this is the one that I was really looking forward to, and to me, it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So after Mr. Sinister, Stardust came out, and everybody else came to the ring. We got immediate action. Like as soon as that bell rang, like everyone just charged somebody and they just went to it. And this is where I say something that's not meant as an insult, because I did like the tag team match, but this match actually had more people in it, and I was able to better keep up with where everyone is and what was actually going on than the tag match. And that is because I think everyone here knew their role, they knew their purpose, they knew exactly what they were doing. There was a lot of really good spots, and it looked like it was well planned. I can't imagine booking, it's hard enough to book a good tag team match. I can't imagine booking a battle royal or a 7-man ladder match where everybody's got to just have perfect timing and placement to make sure it looks good. And there were some cheesy parts. Like I wasn't a big fan of Stardust pulling out his own diamond encrusted ladder.
Oh,
that was dumb.
And Barrett breaking it was what made that part work, because it's like he didn't even get to use the ladder. Barrett just broke it and started beating people with it. Barrett almost lost his life also with that suplex where he landed on his head, and he was trying to do a Shawn Michaels where he was going to be a tree for a few minutes.
That man needs to stay away from ladder matches. He really needs to.
Yeah.
And just before we talk about this, Ambrose going through that ladder.
Oh, that
wicked. Scared me.
I am a huge Dean Ambrose fan, and for about 2 seconds, I was like, well, that's it. His career's done. For
2 seconds, I turned into the King. I was like, oh, God, he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, and I know some people didn't like it, but I actually didn't mind the headbutt competition at the top of the ladder.
That was the great thing.
That was amazing.
And to me, every person involved in this match had a time to shine. There were moments where every participant did something cool, and I was like, oh, they're not going to win. But, it was neat. What'd you think, Chris?
My absolute favorite part of that match was the bull hammers everyone got in that one little spot, because I'm a huge Wade Barrett fan. I love him so much.
Before you continue, did you hear King, before Brock said the infamous Suplex City, he was like, oh, it's Bullhammer City?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did say that.
When I went and rewatched that match, I heard that. I'm like, oh, that's going to play in later. But anyway, that part, only to see Daniel Bryan give the biggest, it's called the bazooka knee, right? Biggest knee he's given of his career.
Wait, is it bazooka or bonsai knee?
I've heard both.
Okay, good.
That's why I was asking.
Go ahead.
And just seeing, like you said, the headbutt battle, that was amazing, which they replicated the next day, but still. And the final, like, even though I saw the final coming a mile away, I still loved it. The way they got there was the best part. Just the whole match, even though it seemed like half the time, it seemed like 95% of the time, R-Truth and Stardust weren't even in the match. But still, I loved every bit of it.
Ulysses, what do you think?
All right, before the match started, I tweeted out my list of from least to greatest who I wanted to win. The bottom of the list was R-Truth, because his build running into this match was just the most annoying thing in the world.
Potatoes.
And I wanted Bryan to win, because much like everyone else, I want the Intercontinental title to mean something. The Intercontinental title was actually my favorite title growing up. I thought it was awesome. I always realized that my favorite wrestlers always had that title. So I wanted him to bring it back to, hopefully, to the prestige that it was. The spots was amazing. There was that one spot where, like, Harper throws the ladder into Bryan's face, and I was almost certain he was going to have a concussion. It was brutal, man. And then we talked about it, the Ambrose spot, where literally the ladder snapped in half. It didn't just bend. It legit snapped. And, oh, God, I was fearing, because they go back to him, and he has and you look at him, and to quote Stone Cold, like, you see that the lights are on, but ain't no one home. But, man, I was terrified for his life. Right. And then the ending was fun. It was great to see another stadium filled with people saying yes, yes, yes. Granted, it wasn't the same as WrestleMania 30, but it was just amazing. I know I said that I wanted Bryan to win, but a small part of me hoped that Barrett was going to retain.
Yeah.
Just because, all right, WWE, I said this to you before, so I'm going to say it on the podcast. Don't bury this man. This man is talented. I hope you have something for him because he's way too good of a wrestler on your roster to just throw away back into the mid-card. And don't give him another Intercontinental title shot or another title run. He's done with the title. He's had it, like, what is it, 5-6 times already?
I think it's his 5th, yeah.
Yeah, so he's starting to become a transitional champion to me at this point. And I don't know, but I feel like that's kind of degrading his talent. Yeah. Don't bury this man, damn it.
Well, I agree. I thought because Barrett lost so many of his matches leading up to this, I really thought there was a good chance he was going to win. But as the match, went on and news kind of came through, I kind of realized I thought it was actually going to be Ziggler at one point who was going to get the belt, which I would have been totally cool with, but Bryan just made a lot of sense, especially with the way they're trying to elevate the belts. And knowing that they're trying to elevate the belts, Barrett may actually get another title run, but maybe this time it'll lead to something better. Who knows?
Maybe he'll win.
All right. So that was a really good match, and I enjoyed the next match, but I had a kind of an overall problem with it from the beginning. The next match is Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. And here's my problem. This match didn't mean as much to me. I realized once it started that Orton had already gotten his revenge on Seth Rollins. And so this just kind of seemed like another match in their feud that had less build-up. But with that said, it did spawn probably the greatest RKO in history.
That was amazing.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Top 3, probably.
Ulysses, what do you think of Seth Rollins versus Orton?
My first initial thought of this match was elbow pad.
Exactly. I had the same thought in the red trunks. I was like, really?
What? Okay, what were... So many people complained about his red trunks. Was there like a problem I just didn't see? Or
he doesn't look good in red.
He's always... Yeah, he's already like orange skinned and then he's red, so if you squint hard enough it looks like he's wrestling nude. It's weird.
See Alberto.
Okay. All right. So Chris, over the month I'm going to need you to like send WWE an email and let them know that their superstars do not look good in red, okay?
Okay.
But yeah, so like that was my first thought, elbow pads, but whatever. It harkens back to like 2005-06 when he used to wrestle with the elbow pads when he won the title the first time.
He's done it before, because that was my thought. I was like, oh, he went back to the elbow pads,
Yeah, because like I saw this and I was like, is this supposed to be his subliminal way of like saying like I'm passing the torch? I was the young stud moving up. Now I'm gonna put this young stud over, which didn't happen. But yeah. But yeah, I had this match as the match that was gonna tear the house down. Yeah. It didn't really do that. But it was still very, very enjoyable to watch. Like, again, that RKO was fantastic. Every curb stomp was cool. That moonsault to the outside was amazing.
Right. It was a solid match.
They allowed Orton to actually go up on the top rope and do his crossbody.
Yeah. One thing I will say to that is some wrestlers say that they wear the arm pads and the elbow pads and stuff like that to make their arms look bigger. And I don't know if that's why Orton was doing it. Because, again, it's WrestleMania. You want to look your best and, wear something different and blah, blah, blah. This was a really solid match. And I agree with you, Ulysses. I thought it was going to tear the house down a little bit more, but it was still good.
Yeah. The one thing it did that a lot of matches don't do nowadays is that from beginning of the bell to the end bell, every fan was paying attention. Like, they never lost the crowd at all. They had spot after spot, energy after energy, and, like, these two are just world-class performers at this point. Yeah. And to expect anything less from these two is blasphemous on you. Because you should have known going into this Mania that these two were going to leave it all out and it was just going to be amazing.
Right.
Do you guys think they practiced that RKO spot?
There's
Sure.
no doubt that they
Yeah.
had to have.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Chris, tell me what you thought about Triple H and Sting. But first, I got to take a moment. I want to know what you two thought about these entrances.
Sting, I thought
Yeah, Chris, you go.
was Sting was. I was like, why does this have any relevance to Sting at all? And then Triple H came out, and I thought, why does this have any relevance to Triple H at all? The first one, I was like, I don't know where you're going with this. The second one's like, oh, okay, you're just getting money from the new Terminator movie. I can see that.
Yeah,
But
he's a huge Arnold fan. He probably had like nut his pants thinking that
Yeah.
Arnold would be doing his intro. Ulysses, what did you think of these intros?
Speaking about nutting pants, that that Triple H entrance, I completely, totally lost my shit. The Sting one was I didn't really care. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I don't.
I-
He's
I
going
don't
wrong.
understand why the Japan. What was the whole deal with the Japanese flag and everything? I don't know how any of that results to Sting.
it has something to
Sting-
do with the red trim.
Well, Sting also, Sting wrestled in Japan a lot. Okay, I get that. I don't know if that was their whole deal. However, the drums went with the actual entrance. The drums went along with his music for the entrance. I don't know. Let's screw that one. All right.
See, I'm still going with. I wish they would have played classic WCW music for him because
Yeah.
that was the best
Brought
one.
him out of the rafters.
And then I brought this.
There were no
I brought
rafters.
this.
No,
I brought this up
they need
before.
Sting can make them.
If
If he can produce a bat out of nowhere, he can make rafters.
Yeah. See, and now this is where I said this on during WrestleMania. Sting with the black coat equals awesome in the Raptor Sting. Sting plus red coat equals TNA. And granted, he was great in TNA, but we want to remember classic awesome in the Raptor Sting. But anyway, back to the nutting the pants about Triple H's entrance. Oh dear God, it was the greatest thing I've ever seen, period. When Arnold came out with the glasses, I was bouncing off my wall going absolutely insane. Because you guys know how much I love me some Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Triple H fan. And then when he came out as a Terminator, oh dear God, I was losing it. When the Terminators came out, oh God, dear God, I lost my shit. I couldn't. I just wish I would have been there live. I would have probably been the most obnoxious person in the
You'll be
stadium.
giddy, jumping with joy.
Oh God, like my parents had to come into my room a couple times saying, "Would you calm your shit? You're just watching TV. Calm the hell down." And I was just like, "You don't understand." But yeah, it was the greatest thing. That is probably up there. And I saw what you said. I saw what you said, Steven. This one topped last year's. I don't care what you said.
Uh-huh. So the group that I was with that was watching WrestleMania, we spent about 20 minutes of this match actually trashing Triple H's entrance because we all thought it was really shitty. And then I went on Twitter and I see all these people talking about how great his entrance was, and I'm like, what? Are you people fucking high?
No, I was drunk.
Okay, or drunk? I guess my point is, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like. I thought last year's was better. I will also say this. I think part of it was it looked like they threw Triple H's costume together last minute.
It does look like that.
His costume looked bad. Like the goddamn Shao Kahn costume from fucking Mortal Kombat Annihilation looked better.
But it wasn't silver and it didn't have a bullseye on the right eye. So you're irrelevant.
I will say it looked thrown together,
good.
but it looked awesome.
It was cool when he did the thing that he usually does on the apron and he had the Terminator's heads on him.
Yeah.
Come on.
I thought he was going to wrestle in that. That would have made me happy.
And one thing I haven't brought up, the Terminator song actually came out.
Yes.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
That was probably the best part.
Awesome. That was awesome. I would hear nothing to the contrary.
If he had just done his normal entrance with the fucking Terminator music in the background, and then had like the actual exoskeletons on either side, that would look great. But his actual costume, to me, killed it a little bit. And then the stuff with Arnold that took so long, and then I don't know. I don't have anything against Arnold. I think Arnold's cool.
The one funny thing was
God.
when they cut to Sting and Sting had the face of like, could we wrestle already?
Yeah.
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 Oh, and I think it was JBL said he looks intimidated when Sting just literally had no facial expression
He
whatsoever.
looked bored. He looked like he was like,
Come
hey,
on.
get your
Let's
ass down to the ring. He did the old school. Shawn Michaels and Triple H used to like rag each other about how long each of them took on their entrances, and that's exactly what it looked like. It's like, hey, Hunter, get your ass down here.
Yeah.
But
Let's get to the actual match now.
I did like that all of the Army guys that gave Triple H the heads and did all that stuff. Those were all NXT guys. It was like Sami Callihan and Blake and Murphy and a couple others. Enzo Amore was one of them. All right, so let's talk about the actual match because I don't want to talk about these goddamn entrances anymore.
They were great.
I didn't like this match. This was my least favorite match of the night.
I
Hate it.
liked the match. I thought it was good. It was good fan service, but the ending of it was terrible. It needed to end with a pedigree or a death drop. I wouldn't say a death lock because there's no way Triple H taps out.
Here's the thing. The first like 10 minutes of this match are good, and it was what I wanted.
Wait, hold on.
Nostalgia Central hits. Go ahead.
I don't know about good. Sting should never be allowed to drop kick ever again.
Okay.
That was bad.
It was an awkward looking drop kick. I will give you that.
But yeah, like the match was entertaining. It was exactly what you thought it would be with Sting and Triple H. But I'll let you talk about Nostalgic Central because I got positives and negatives about it. You go ahead. Say what you want to say.
Chris, I want to go ahead and hear you.
Yes, I knew all of them.
Okay, just because if anyone out of the three of us, the nostalgia hit should have least affected you. So what did you think about that whole section of the match?
I loved it because I love all of those. Well, maybe not X-Pac, but I loved.
Why do people hate X-Pac? Sorry, go ahead.
I really don't know. It's just something about his look. But like once DX came out, I kind of figured that NWO was going to come out, even though it didn't make sense because NWO and Sting feuded for most of the time. But
exactly.
But once I saw that, I'm like, is Shawn Michaels going to come out? Called that one correctly. I really, and I know I got this idea from, I think it was either Ulysses or Anthony that said Ric Flair needs to come out next. And I was really hoping it would be Ric Flair.
Yeah, we were all, like I said, the guys I was watching the show with, like, we were all like, okay, well, we know Ric Flair's there. That would make the most sense. Or, Vader, because he was there, but whatever.
Or Goldberg.
Was he present?
I don't know if he was there.
Yeah, I don't think he was there. I will say that the Legends part, the coolest thing about that section is, one, Sting took more bumps than I thought he was going to take.
Yeah,
and then watching those Legends.
And I was kind of wondering about X-Pac once. I was like, okay, I know NWO is coming out next. Is X-Pac just going to fight himself? Because he was in both. Just going to start hitting himself in the face.
Yeah.
Technically, so was Michael.
Yeah. What's funny is the three guys on the D-Generation X squad are all three still pretty active. Two of them are trainers, and one of them's still an active wrestler. So I was like, that seems one-sided. But no, I really thought Nash was going to tear his quad again. I know everybody made that joke, but like as soon as he landed, he grabbed his leg, and I was like, okay, either he did some of his best selling of his career right there because he's not a great seller, or he really did tear his quad. But apparently, it was just good selling. Speaking
of tear, did Triple H do anything to his leg? Because he had a big purple and black spot on his, like right on his upper thigh and just going down. Did he tear it? I doubt he tore anything.
It looks like he landed wrong. It just looks like he landed
just
really
got a
bad.
giant bruise.
Yeah. I don't know. But HBK came out. He did his thing. And I was really hoping somebody else would come out for Sting, but they didn't do that. And I did not like the ending. I don't know why Triple H won, and I know there are people who are arguing that that's how it had to end. Sure, okay, whatever. Maybe they'll do more with Sting. I know he did his big announcement, and we can talk about that later. But honestly, I just and the shaking of the hands thing.
That was dumb.
If you were going to do that, I needed something more. I needed an exchange of words. I needed anything, a more story for that to lead up to the whole shaking hands thing. I don't know. What did you guys think?
I like the ending of it. I knew going into it was going to come down to the sledgehammer versus the bat, and they're going to do something unrealistic where somehow the bat breaks the sledgehammer, which they did, and
You will never see a sledgehammer break that clean in your life.
never, no.
Hold on.
But what were you saying?
Because it was funny because when Hall gave Sting the bat, the first thing I thought was, holy shit, he's giving him a taser, not this again. That's what it looked like. I thought it was the taser.
All right. Anything else on the Sting Triple H match?
All right, hold on. When DX came out, I lost it because I love DX. I remember watching him grow. And then when Hall, Nash, and Hogan came out, oh man, like I was already bouncing off the wall. This match almost killed me. Then Michaels came out. I love me some Michaels. I was just disappointed because, like how Chris already stated, this NWO coming out to save Sting really doesn't make sense in the long run. It really doesn't. They feuded forever. That makes sense. If it was just Hall and Nash as just them two, maybe, but not really still. I would have preferred it if like DDP, Goldberg.
Bang.
Yeah, like those guys who made WCW. Flair. Why did Flair not come out? Like I wanted Flair to come out so hard.
Everybody was asking that. I don't know.
If Flair would have came out, I probably wouldn't be here to do the thing. I probably would have been in a coma.
They had to save Flair for the bit after this match where they were congratulating Daniel Bryan. Because that's obviously more important.
Anyway,
Point is, if Flair would have came out, I would have been in a wrestling-induced coma.
We're done with this match.
Done with this match.
All right. So, speaking of entrances, good entrances kind of look like Rusev's.
That was fantastic.
That is a good entrance.
Yes, I started playing the game, which one of these extras are actually Russian, and I'm going to guess 0.
You guys were looking at stuff? I was just... Look, Lana could have came out just with no music, and that would have been the entrance of the day. Just having Lana walk out.
But the absolute best part, him coming in on a tank, that was fantastic.
And I'm sorry, I didn't actually like Cena's entrance because it was basically...
It wasn't living in America.
Okay, yes, I agree with that. However, it's also some of the same entrances he's done for the Tribute to the Troops. Like, it just looked like one of their video packages for Tribute to the Troops. Yeah. So, I didn't care.
I was just hoping for him to come out, see the tank, put it on his shoulders, and AA the living hell out of it.
He can do it.
He AA's the tank, just walks back with the belt.
Just AA the tanks, look at Rusev and goes like, "You're next." That's it. And then like Rusev gets scared.
I quit.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk too much about this match just because I thought it was a solid match. I thought there were some good spots in it. Like Rusev has continuously, in my eyes, gotten better over the past year and a half. So I was okay. I'm okay with him losing because I know what the end result was, and if you're going to lose your streak, if you're going to get your first pinfall or submission defeat,
might as well
at WrestleMania, and he looked good. I actually think this is going to do what they hoped it would do for Bray Wyatt last year. They wanted Bray Wyatt to lose to Cena last year, but it was going to elevate him. And it really didn't do him any favors. Bray Wyatt, I think, was over that loss. But this year it seems like it's working a little bit more. I really want to see some good things for Rusev. McMahon has his hard on for monster heels like this, like Kozlov and Great Khali and I guess Heidenreich. But anyway, you get the point. So maybe this one will work. Any brief thoughts on this match?
We finally saw Cena do a move that wasn't in the 5 moves of Doom.
Yeah, and it looked really awkward.
Yeah.
See, I feel bad for Rusev because he lost to Superman, which was I really, really didn't want that to happen, but again, it makes sense in the grander scheme of things. But 2, not only did he lose his undefeated streak, it looks like he lost Lana, which means we lose Lana, which means we all lose.
She just had another week of filming for the movie.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, you just made me watch Raw again.
Yeah, like she's filming that movie with Edge, and they basically had her. They wanted her at WrestleMania, which was good, and then so they had her be kind of part of the reason I guess he lost, so that it made sense for her to be gone for another week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever. All right.
More Lana, damn it.
So, I already said that the Sting Triple H was my least favorite match. My most hated segment of the night was The Authority, The Rock, and Ronda Rousey. Now,
You're wrong.
let's just get this out of the way. Ronda Rousey in the Dragon Ball Z t-shirt is
Incredibly hot.
erection inducing.
Yeah.
However, this segment took so fucking long that I didn't care. And it was cool. Like, the segment wasn't bad, but they cut the last match down by 5 minutes or whatever, apparently, according to
I'm pretty
reports.
sure they cut every match because.
Yeah. Well, according to everything I read, the stuff that really got cut because of this segment running a little bit long, they put this segment here for time filler to make up any time that they were missing. But then the actual segment ran long because The Rock is notorious for that. The Rock is notorious for his segments running long. And
example, last year WrestleMania.
they also cut a video package for the Undertaker Bray Wyatt match. Now, we probably didn't need that because I know personally I watched the pre-show and they showed that thing like twice on the pre-show. So, whatever. But still, I got so pissed at how long this segment was taking. And like I said, it was funny. We didn't need it, you know? We didn't need and it was like after the handshake from Sting, we need to bring Triple H back and reassure you that he's still a heel, you know?
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was pointless filler, but what they did with it, I liked. I liked the whole. I always love The Rock. He's amazing, but still,
Yes.
what they did was cool, but we could have gone without it.
Honestly, after the stuff at the Royal Rumble and this, I never thought I would say I got tired of seeing The Rock, but I think I'm good with The Rock for about 6 months. Though I am going to go watch his appearance on Saturday Night Live. I do want to see that.
See, okay, now after this segment, I'm officially dead. Like, I don't know how I'm still able to talk to you because I'm pretty sure this segment killed me. Because I love The Rock. He's like number 2 on my all-time favorite wrestler. And for me, any chance I get to see him was fantastic. And I already had lost most of my shit on the Triple H match. When The Rock's music came out, I lost it completely. And I was disappointed in a few things. Because when Stephanie came out saying, like, oh, you wouldn't hit a woman, I kind of hoped Tamina Snuka would have came out because you know how they're family.
Yeah.
And I love Tamina Snuka, so it would have been cool to see her.
Yeah.
But then when I saw him,
back.
yeah, and then when he came out, I saw Mama Rock, like Rock's mother on the side.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is Mama Rock going to slap her? That'd be awesome.
See,
But
when
then
he was going towards Ronda Rousey, the screen kind of went blurry for me. And I saw this bald guy with a goatee. I'm like, is that Stone Cold? Are they going to bring Stone Cold out here to give McMahon a stunner?
That'd be
Rock
great.
won't hit a woman, but Stone Cold will. But
Stone Cold probably would.
but I was denied of that opportunity.
I love how many people said Rock sure as fuck would hit a woman if this was still the Attitude Era.
See, and now I saw this whole segment. The only use of it was one thing: to kill time for the sun to go down because of the next match.
It was the time filler. It was for them to go, okay, this is how long all these other matches took. Now we can map out the rest of the night, you know. But honestly, I think the biggest thing to come out of this is all the speculations about Ronda Rousey possibly doing a stint in WWE, and you know, that's what everybody seems to have latched on to in this segment. And the fact that she wore a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt, which, okay, cool, I can see that, right? All right, let's move on because, like I said, that segment irked me. And
I loved it.
We're on to Bray Wyatt and Undertaker. And honestly, I, again, loved Bray Wyatt's entrance more than I liked Triple H's because I loved the whole Scarecrow thing. I thought it was cool.
See, now you're wrong again, but because Bray Wyatt's entrance this year was nowhere near as awesome as last year.
I'll admit that. I will say his entrance last year was better with the live band. That was cool. Here's the other thing. I know you're probably going to say something about this, and I saw so many people complaining that it wasn't dark yet when The Undertaker came out.
I was more complaining about the guy who was in the way of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy is not with the WWE anymore.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see it the second time, but somebody said that two people got in the way of a camera shot. It was once during Undertaker's thing, and it was during...
One was in front of the commentators. Like, he walks in front of it, and he walks right away.
So our theory was that it's the same guy, right? And he realized after the Undertaker, it's just like, well, I'm fired after tonight. I'm bored. So I'm going to at least do one more. I'm going to do one more. Watch me, guys. He's like telling all of his friends backstage, he's like, watch what I do in front of those commentators. You know,
like I'm going to mess with the one superstar I shouldn't really mess with.
Brothers of Darkness.
All right. So any comments on their entrances or anything leading up to this match?
Needed to be dark. That's all I need to say.
Yeah, see, I saw so many people complaining about that.
Fine, then I won't use that as my complaint. I will say one good thing. Undertaker's entrance wasn't as long as it usually is.
Mm-hmm.
It did seem a little bit more abbreviated. I agree with you.
Oh, and also Bray Wyatt's was well choreographed.
Yeah.
Yes. I love Taker, but his entrance takes way too damn long. Please don't hurt me, Undertaker.
He's coming for you now.
Let's talk about the actual match, because one, I have to say, Undertaker looked good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He looks amazing. He looks absolutely amazing.
Only thing I can be discredit the Undertaker for, and it's no fault of his own, but the short hair just reminds me too much of the American Undertaker, which I'd rather not remember.
That was the dope Undertaker. I don't care what anybody says. When he was that, versus his first run against Brock Lesnar, he was awesome.
Yeah, but after that, it's ugh. But still,
I still love it.
I liked the match, but all it was setting up for was the moment where Bray's doing the spider walk and Taker does the sit up, I knew going into that.
Bray just melts. That was great. I love that.
That was great. That was a great match, though. I mean, the great spot, though.
Yeah.
But I knew going into it, it's like, okay, we're going to see Taker do the old school. We're going to see him do Hell's Gate. We're going to see him do the chokeslam. We're going to see him do the tombstone a couple times. Doubt we're going to see the last ride because it's Bray Wyatt. But, I liked it because I'm a huge Taker fan. Like, that added more to the match because Taker's my favorite wrestler. And, honestly, I was a little let down by it because I was expecting more out of it, but it was still a good match. And Bray Wyatt was fantastic in it.
I was not let down. I also knew that Bray Wyatt was working with an injured ankle, so there was a little bit of leeway, I guess, in the back of my mind. I really liked it. Yes, it all led up to that big spot where they look at each other, but come on, that was pretty epic. That's what we wanted.
Yeah,
that's what we wanted.
Exactly.
You may not want to admit that that's what you wanted, but that's what we wanted. And overall, one, I didn't know if Undertaker could still do old school, so it was very cool to see him do it. I don't know. I enjoyed this match overall. Ulysses?
I will say one thing. I really got scared for Bray Wyatt when he did that, trying to dive over the stairs, and he hit his leg on the corner, and then he started limping. I'm like, oh no, that doesn't look like it's part of the act. It looks like he's actually hurt. But he
injured his ankle during practice.
Yeah,
and I almost thought that was to give a reason for why he might be limping. But Ulysses, what'd you think?
Okay, I know we harked on this already, but Undertaker looked great. It was good to see the goatee back, because whatever the hell he did with his facial hair last year made him look like 100 years old. Now he looks like that awesome uncle we all have.
He did look great.
Yeah, his body looked amazing. I had high hope because the shape that he was in, it looked like he could probably do one or two more WrestleManias. Who knows? That's still up in the air. But I know I repeated last time. I said I kind of wish this would have been like a squash match or whatever. I regret saying that now because, man, was that great.
Yeah.
But I have a huge, 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 huge issue with the finish.
You're shitting me. Go ahead.
Yes. Congratulations, WWE. I now no longer give a single solitary damn about Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is a loser. Every time I watch him in a pay-per-view, he's losing.
He needs some wins, but come on.
No, and not only that.
Did you really think that he was going to win?
They're not going to let Taker lose 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to let Undertaker lose 2 years in a row. My hope was actually that I really wanted Undertaker to win and then Bray Wyatt to beat the shit out of him afterwards. That was really my hope.
But see, even then, I still wouldn't care because Bray can't win anymore. It's now we barely see him on Raw anyways. He comes out on Raw twice a month. and that already annoys me.
Well, you didn't see him last
He's
night.
becoming the new
because
Taker.
You didn't see him last night because he still had the ankle injury.
Yeah, I understand, but what about this whole time during when he was trying to build the promo? Like, I understand getting him out there to get the promo to try to sell us on the match, but you are fantastic in the ring. You are really, really good. Get in the ring, do your job, and entertain me. He's rarely there. And now that he's a loser, like the only times I've ever seen him win was the one time against Cena, and I think he beat Daniel Bryan. Other than that, he is a loser. Oh, and then he beat Kane in his first pay-per-view. But other than that, he's a huge loser. He lost his coat. He lost his coat with Wyatt and with Harper and Rowan leaving him. He's no longer scary to me. Like, he has a coat following, but without a coat anymore. He's no longer the scary possessor. He is a loser. I no longer care about Wyatt. I don't care about him going to the main event anymore. Congratulations, WWE.
Well, I think we all agree that they broke up the Wyatt family a little bit too early, but, you know, that's WWE creative. That's how they do for you. All right, on to the next match. Reigns versus Lesnar. What?
You missed the Divas match.
Yeah, we kind of skipped that.
What?
Hey, it was good.
Give Divas a chance.
Damn it! I misread my notes. All right. I actually didn't mind the Divas match.
It was good.
I didn't
only one bad part of it was that one botch. That's it. I like the rest of it.
Yeah, there was one botch. I didn't make a lot of notes about this because I just have decent match written next to it. You know, it should have been a Divas title match. I agree with that, but this was a chance to give 4 Divas a chance instead of just 2. So, but I think they should have made a triple threat match: Nikki versus AJ versus Paige, and then had Brie interfere or something. But it was good. It wasn't bad. You know, I know we're not going to have a lot of time to talk about Raw, but they definitely gave the Divas a little bit more of a chance on the next night. So
I just love the fact that it was AJ that got the win and not Paige. I love you, AJ.
Yes. Okay. All right. Not to brush over that, but on to Reigns versus Lesnar.
Main event of our evening.
Yeah. So I actually was not looking forward to this match.
No one was.
But I was looking forward to the fact that I knew they were going to be very brutal about whatever happened. And I think Vince or somebody in the WWE finally realized, it's like, look, they don't really like Reigns, so let's just have Lesnar go out there and beat the shit out of him. We're gonna have him yell "Suplex City, bitch!" Or I wonder if Heyman fed him that line, because Lesnar.
No, Lesnar looks like he did that prematurely. Like, that was all him.
Lesnar looks like one of those people who, like, somebody says something and he's like, I gotta use that. That's good. You know, I don't know. Anyway, so Reigns came down and I didn't see this. Like, I rewatched it and somebody said a fan like pushed him down the steps, but he apparently didn't fall or whatever.
No,
I saw that. It was a fan got in front of him and Roman shoved him to the side.
Okay, all right. I missed that somehow. And then, you know, I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan. I think he's fine. He just needs a little bit more time. But I did like when he punched the ring and it did the 360 camera angle and all the fireworks going up. That looked cool. Okay.
Yeah. That looked cool.
Yeah. Lesnar had his entrance, and you know what? Lesnar doesn't need like a special entrance for WrestleMania, because the idea here is that he's legit and dominant. And so I just want to see him come down to the ring looking pissed, and that worked.
I think the fireworks went off cue, though, didn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, because when he put his fist down, because usually now when he does the fist down and he yells, the fireworks come off, but he didn't. So he just kept walking, and then the fireworks came out. And I don't know if it was Brock or Heyman, but one of them kind of jolted when the fireworks came off a little late.
I don't know. I'll have to rewatch that. So this was actually an enjoyable match, and I'm not even saying that for what happens at the end. I think I just really enjoyed watching Brock Lesnar destroy someone.
I loved it.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a big
booing. Go ahead.
I'm not a big Reigns fan.
Yeah.
The only credit I give him is he went to Georgia Tech, which is my favorite college. But I loved seeing him get the ever living crap beat out of him. It was like I thought Lesnar had a legit beef with Roman Reigns. I thought he was legitimately steel horsing him and just continuously hitting him. And then they showed the replay later of where Reigns knees Lesnar in the face where he legit knees him. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, they're turning this into a shoot.
Yeah. Well,
But
Brock has
anyway.
always worked stiff, and I think
Yeah, I know.
I think he and Reigns probably agreed before the match. Hey, like I said, it's the biggest night in the business. Let's do
let's
this.
sell the hell out of this.
As Ulysses and I were discussing earlier, it looks like they allowed Brock to do a blade job.
They did.
Before we continue that, does Roman no longer do that move where like he puts the guys on the 619 position, then he goes outside and drop kicks them?
I mean, he just didn't do it last. He didn't do it in WrestleMania, and he didn't do it last night.
I haven't seen him do it in a long time.
He did it on SmackDown
I don't remember him doing it
about 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember him doing that to Bryan at Fastlane and all that.
Well, we don't remember much from Fastlane anyway.
Yeah, I swear, like 2 or 3 weeks ago on SmackDown, he was in a match and he did it. Maybe he's not doing it as much.
Yeah, because that's like my favorite move of his.
Yeah. It was a very brutal match, and then of course we had the music hit, and as soon as the music hit, it was
stadium lost it.
Yeah, it was one. It was a good feeling. Two, you knew what was going to happen at that point, but it was worth it. The build was just there. So
yeah, like I got scared. I heard his music, I went nuts. Then I got scared because I was like, oh no, he's cashing in during the middle of the match. They're gonna make Roman win now. This is gonna be awful.
Nah,
then you see him curb stomp, F5, curb stomp, pin, win, and I was like, yes, finally. Roman doesn't have the belt. You can bury him now.
That's not going to happen. As soon as the music hit, I knew. I was like, well, Rollins is walking away tonight with the belt, and I kind of predicted that. I said it was either going to be WrestleMania or the Monday after, and I'm glad that they did WrestleMania because this is the first cash in of the Money in the Bank out of WrestleMania event, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was when after the cash in, I distinctly remember yelling because I remember I believe Rollins comes in. The first thing he does is he throws or he helps push Roman outside, and then he immediately curb stomps Lesnar, and then he goes outside and he's like standing around. I remember yelling, "Pin him, you idiot! What's wrong with you? Pin him!" But I'm assuming he was just yelling at Roman, saying, "Hey, come on, you got to get in the ring. I got to pin you, not him."
Right. Yeah, it was good. Overall, I definitely think that this was a damn good WrestleMania. I think I enjoyed last year. I think last year's was better overall as a show.
Yeah, easily.
I saw some people saying like this was the best WrestleMania in years, and I was like, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was really damn good, especially for a WrestleMania that I think most people were expecting to be crap. Now,
going with low expectations, it's always better.
Hey, you know what's fine, and that's what I'm going to do for WrestleMania Star. Now, we're going to do a quick lightning round for the Raw after WrestleMania because usually that's really good. First thing, Brock coming out at the beginning with Heyman and Heyman correcting the audience saying that it was Suplex City, bitch. So that was pretty good.
Hilarious.
If you missed it, Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan had a great match.
It was great.
And then Wade Barrett attacked. And then Sheamus came out with this hair beard thing going on that most people didn't seem to like.
The crowd was fantastic.
Stupid.
Yeah.
The crowd was amazing. The crowd was eccentric, but Sheamus was dumb.
Yeah.
He has been.
The Lucha Dragons and Adrian Neville both debuted. They're both great.
Excuse me.
Which I have an issue. I have an issue with this.
All right. What is your issue?
Neville and Kalisto could debut, but Sami Zayn hasn't. What is wrong?
Well, he is injured currently, but I don't think I told you he's there for the long haul in NXT.
I will say this: I love the Lucha Dragons. Ever since I've been watching NXT here, I know it's terrible, but every now and then when I watch NXT, Kalisto is amazing. That spot where he landed on Cesaro's shoulders,
yeah,
I went crazy.
Yeah, people love that.
And then,
go ahead.
Well, then like you said, Neville. Which is dumb. Call him Adrian Neville, not just Neville.
They don't like first names, dude.
Stupid.
And remove the cape. That cape is dumb.
The cape had me so afraid because I'm like, oh god, they're doing the Mighty Mouse. Okay, they're not. All right, thank God.
They're doing the Mighty Mouse. Oh, beautiful.
All right, so then Lesnar came out. He looked like he was going to get his match with Rollins. I knew that it wasn't going to actually happen. Perfect heel move, and then destruction and.
We
Oh my
we
God.
saw a literal snuff film. We saw
Yeah.
6 people die on camera.
If you missed Raw, the biggest thing you need to know is that Brock Lesnar killed Michael Cole, and Wikipedia reflects that now. But a lot of people are saying that it might not have even been Michael Cole that took the bump, apparently because of some weird camera work. I don't know. Cole has taken plenty of big bumps in the past, but that's still possible.
He literally got F5'd out of his shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar was fired, and now apparently going to be fined.
Suspended.
Whatever.
Fired.
Was he fired or suspended?
It was suspended indefinitely.
Indefinitely, yeah.
In quotes, because it's wrestling and he's
Yeah.
going to be back next
Right.
week.
The point is, there'll be some more storyline for that. Mizdow won, and literally my note says, "What kind of sorcery is this?"
Why is he still missed?
Yeah, I thought they had taken him back to Sandow. So the other thing I want to talk about is they put the U.S. title on Cena's shirt. So it's like his old shirt where he had the heavyweight belt on it, and it's like the champ is here and it has the arrow pointing down. But this is brilliant because someone took this whole elevating the belt thing like too literal, and so they were like, well, let's put it on a shirt. So, and he had an amazing match with Ambrose. Ambrose looked great in that match, and Cena looked good too. I mean, they did some cool stuff.
Yeah, I hope this is just more for Ambrose because I want to see more Ambrose.
Yeah.
Ambrose is fantastic.
The Divas had a decent match, like I said, and if you're one of the jackoffs, at the show, like chanting about who the Divas are fucking, you're shitty.
I gotta say is that apparently WWE found my fan fiction because AJ Lee was wearing a Bailey T-shirt, and that was amazing. That was probably my favorite part of all of Raw.
That really is your fan fiction, isn't it? All right. To conclude Raw, the last hour just wasn't as good, and unfortunately, the fans were more interested in doing the wave, which is fine. And then I noticed that the cameras were actually following the wave around, and
Even the cameramen were bored. The cameramen were kind of off put after they lost one of their own due to Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, yeah.
Oh, poor cameraman Eddie.
This last hour wasn't bad, but it just wasn't.
The worst part about this last hour is apparently the table weighs about a metric ton that no one can flip it right side up.
You can't flip the table back over, and I like to think that JBL and Booker T are still sitting there in the arena and have not been carted off yet. Writhing in pain.
I also don't know why. So they sent Byron Saxton out, and we know King was backstage, right? But it took them a while longer to send King out. But yet also, let's just assume King wasn't there for storyline purposes, right? Corey Graves and Otunga and somebody else were all there for the pre-show. Could have sent any of them out.
But they sent out Byron Saxton.
This would have been a good opportunity just to have a fresh new announce team. Don't send out King. I would have sent out Corey Graves with Byron Saxton, maybe even a third person, and see if the audience likes them as an announce team. But
preferably,
for some reason,
I would have liked them to dig up Joey Styles out of nowhere and just send him out there.
He's around, but I don't know why they only sent one person. That's what I didn't get.
Half the time, it felt like there was nobody there.
And I agree with you. If you were one of the fans behind the announce table, because they were standing instead of putting the table back up right, not like you don't have people that work there that could have come and set it back up right. So now
it weighs a metric ton.
Yeah, now the fans are having to be like, well, I guess I have to look around Byron Saxton and King. Anyway, all right, we're out of time. This has been a just jam-packed week full of wrestling stuff. Thank you guys for listening and letting us kind of spill our thoughts about everything that happened. If you want to talk to any of us about something we said, or if you have any questions or comments, all the information will be below, and you can find most of us on Twitter or leave a comment here on the video. So until next time, thank you, Chris and Ulysses, for joining me.
You're welcome.
I was just as awesome as Triple H's entrance.
Right.
Boy, aren't you humble.
Everybody have a good week.